The UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products, but this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that. They'll also be fast-tracking American goods through their customs process, so our exports go to a very, very quick form of approval, and there won't be any red tape. Things are going to move very quickly both ways. The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries, and we'll also receive new market access for American chemicals, machinery, and many other industrial products that weren't allowed.
Welcome one and all to another episode of Celebrity Scoop, where we bring you the hottest news from the world stage. Today, our focus is none other than the ever-surprising Donald Trump, who is once again making headlines. This time it's not about his tweets or his golf games, but about a significant move on the international front. Yes, you guessed it right, we're talking about the new trade agreement between the US and the UK that Trump announced on May 8, 2025. Trump, in his characteristic flamboyance, was quick to describe the deal as full and comprehensive. But what does that mean? Well, it seems like the agreement primarily aims to strengthen the economic ties between the two countries. It's designed to reduce tariffs on British exports, with a special focus on key products like cars and steel. And here's the cherry on the cake. It completely eliminates tariffs on certain goods like ethanol, positioning it as a big win for specific industries. But hold on to your hats, folks, because there's a twist in the tale. While Trump has been painting this agreement as a sweeping, all-inclusive deal, UK officials beg to differ. They've clarified that this isn't a full free trade agreement, but more of a targeted deal, focusing only on specific sectors. Regardless of the nuances, Trump's announcement of this deal has definitely stirred the pot. It's interesting to see this shift in tone, especially considering Trump's past criticism of the UK's Brexit plans. Now it seems both sides are eager to strengthen their trade relationship, at least in certain areas. This announcement is a significant development in the international trade scene. Whether this deal will prove to be the game-changer Trump touts it as, or if it's just another flash in the pan, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the world will be watching. Now let's delve into the specifics of this trade deal. At the heart of this agreement, we see a clear focus on reducing tariffs on British exports. And we're not just talking about any exports. The spotlight is on key products, particularly cars and steel. With these tariff reductions, British manufacturers in these sectors stand to gain a significant advantage in the American market. But the deal doesn't stop there. It goes one step further with a complete elimination of tariffs on certain goods. Take ethanol, for instance. This biofuel has been at the center of trade discussions for years. Now, with this deal, it has become a tariff-free product. This is a substantial victory for industries involved in its production and export. However, it's important to note that this deal isn't as all-encompassing as some might think. While it's been painted with broad strokes by Trump, UK officials have added a touch of clarity. They've explained that this isn't a full free trade agreement. Instead, it's a more targeted deal, one that zeroes in on specific sectors rather than covering the entire spectrum of trade between the two nations. This means that while some industries are celebrating, others may be left wondering when their turn will come. Nonetheless, the deal marks a significant step forward. By focusing on these particular sectors, it has the potential to strengthen economic ties between the US and the UK. It could also pave the way for future collaboration and deal-making, especially in other sectors that are ripe for growth. In summary, while it may not be the all-encompassing agreement some were expecting, this deal does offer some clear benefits. The reduction and elimination of tariffs on key products will aid specific industries, and the targeted nature of the deal could set the stage for further trade discussions down the line. This deal appears to be a targeted win for certain industries. But what do the officials from the UK have to say about this agreement? As it turns out, they've been rather clear about their stance. The UK officials have reminded us that this agreement isn't a full-fledged free trade deal. It's not an all-encompassing economic pact that touches on every sector. Rather, it's a targeted deal, a specific arrangement that zeroes in on certain sectors. Now, why is that significant? Well, a full free trade agreement would have meant that goods and services from both countries could move across the border without any tariffs or restrictions. That, however, is not the case here. Instead, this deal focuses on reducing tariffs on key British exports. We're talking about industries that are vital to the British economy, like cars and steel. It's a targeted approach, concentrating on those sectors where the UK has a strong presence and can really benefit from lower tariffs. Alongside this, the agreement also eliminates tariffs on certain goods. Take ethanol, for example, which is a major product for some industries. The removal of tariffs on ethanol could be a significant boon for those industries, and by extension, for the UK economy. Yet, it's important to remember that this isn't a comprehensive trade agreement. It's a targeted deal, and that's a distinction the UK officials are keen to make. They're not presenting this as a sweeping change to the entire economic relationship between the US and the UK. It's a specific agreement, aimed at boosting trade in certain industries. This perspective from the UK side brings a different light to Trump's announcement. While Trump hails this as a major, all-encompassing deal, the UK officials remind us of its targeted nature. So what do we make of this? Well, it's certainly a step forward in the US-UK trade relationship. It's a move that could benefit key sectors of the British economy. Yet it's not the all-encompassing deal that some might have expected. It seems there's a bit of discrepancy between how the two sides are viewing this deal. Trump, not one to shy away from praise, had some choice words about the UK. Never one to be subtle, Trump was full of admiration for the UK in his recent announcement. He lauded the UK as being right at the top of America's allies. These words of praise are significant, reflecting the deepening ties between the two nations. But Trump didn't stop there. In his typical forward-thinking style, he hinted at the prospect of future collaborations, and not just in any sector, but in the realms of technology and other fast-growing industries. This shows a clear intent to expand the scope of this partnership beyond traditional trade. Trump's comments suggest a vision of a dynamic partnership that leverages the strengths of both nations. A partnership that isn't just about trading goods, but also about sharing knowledge, fostering innovation, and driving economic growth. And it's not just about economics. Trump's words hint at a strategic alliance, a partnership that could shape the geopolitical landscape in the years to come. This is about more than just trade deals. It's about forging a strong, resilient alliance that can stand the test of time. We can only speculate where these future collaborations might lead, but one thing is certain: Trump sees a bright future for the US-UK partnership. This certainly marks a shift in tone from the once critical Trump. Stepping back, what does this mean for international relations? It signals a fascinating pivot, a shift from Trump's previous critique of the UK's Brexit strategy, which he once claimed would hinder a US-UK trade agreement. Today, a much more cooperative tone echoes in the corridors of power. The focus of the dialogue has moved from broad disagreements to the fine-tuning of mutual benefits. It seems like both sides are making an effort to strengthen their trade relationship, at least in certain areas. That's it for today's episode of Celebrity Scoop. We've delved into some important developments on the international front. The highlight, of course, being the newly announced trade agreement between the US and the UK. This deal, hailed as full and comprehensive by Donald Trump, is set to shake up tariffs on British exports like cars and steel and completely remove them on others like ethanol. However, the UK officials remind us that this isn't a free trade agreement in its entirety, but a more targeted arrangement. We've also heard Trump's unbridled praise for the UK and hints at future collaborations, particularly in tech and other burgeoning industries. Despite past criticisms of the UK's Brexit plans, it seems we're witnessing a shift towards a more cooperative tone between these two nations. Thank you for watching Celebrity Scoop. Stay tuned for more exciting news from the world of celebrities and beyond.